At least two other examples of sleeping giants come to mind. Those men are Adam and Boaz. Adam, for example, was productive and busy, yet he was unaware that it was not good for him to be alone. His capacity to love another human being was not like an on and off switch. It had to come on at a set time and an appointed season. Read with me. I'm reading How Beautiful Are Your Feet, subtitled Transforming Relationships One Giant Step at a Time by R. Winone Morris, published 2014. If you are a believer, single young lady, or a single black mom raising daughters, this chapter's for you. Chapter 24. Sleeping Giants. Stir not up, nor awake my love, till he please. Song of Solomon 2:7, King James Version. Many of us heard that clarion call, "Wake up, the sleeping giant." In 2006, when the book Awakening the Sleeping Giant was released, many churches were all abuzz, and rightfully so. The giant is often used to refer to the church as a collective body. Revivals, men's conferences, and New Year's resolutions are some of the male responses to this call. So, in this chapter, I'll focus on the men, the single ones. Many of them made New Year's resolutions, and while a good number of their supporters, pastors, mentors, coaches are busy stirring and encouraging them, trying to wake up the giant within each one, this is the time when single women need to let the giant sleep. As exciting as it can be to witness the work that God is doing in them, we need to fall back sometimes. Let God finish what he started in them. This is particularly true in the area of love. But it takes some restraint on our part while these men are maturing and becoming re-energized. It may be tempting to meddle. Women can tend to get anxious, and God forbid if they were instrumental in bringing the mister to church or encouraging him to the altar. We assume that gives us automatic dibs on him. Do not disturb. Stir not up, nor awake my love till he please. Song of Solomon 2:7, King James Version. This verse does not refer to a man who is napping because he is physically tired. It has to do with sleepiness in another aspect of his life, the matter of love. With that said, it behooves us to heed the admonition to not awake love on our own. This requires us to trust God's process and his timing. Both are important. Here's why. The beloved in Song of Solomon was an able-bodied, productive giant of a man, yet he happened to be asleep. And he is not the only man in the Bible who was. At least two other examples of sleeping giants come to mind. Those men are Adam and Boaz. Adam, for example, was productive and busy, yet he was unaware that it was not good for him to be alone. His capacity to love another human being was not like an on and off switch. It had to come on at a set time and an appointed season. God had to stir up and awaken that love within him. This type of love exceeded his passion, care, and concern for his environment. It was much greater than his mastery over the animals and all of creation. Nap time. God caused a deep sleep to fall on Adam. Obviously, this was no ordinary nap. God then formed Eve from his rib. When he awoke, Adam's capacity for phileo love was awakened. The man said, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for she was taken out of man. This is why a man leaves his father and mother and is united to his wife, and they became one flesh." Genesis 2:23 and 24 NIV. Can you even fathom waking up from a major surgical procedure, seeing a brand new creature, and suddenly feeling an immense sense of love for her or him? I can't. Some time ago, I had surgery, and even though I was surrounded by loved ones when I woke up, I was groggy and cranky. The kind of aha moment that Adam experienced is definitely orchestrated by God. Remember, up until this point, he had spent his entire life observing creatures and animals and naming them. Eve was an entirely new species to him, and at the appointed time, he awoke. And not just physically, as Ephesians 1:18 puts it, the eyes of his understanding were enlightened. Then there's Boaz. According to the biblical account, Ruth went to the place where he was sleeping after he had a long day of threshing wheat and being merry. She gently laid at his feet, being careful not to awake him. At the set time, something or someone, God, awoke him. Ruth approached quietly and uncovered his feet and lay down. In the middle of the night, something startled the man. He turned, and there was a woman lying at his feet. That's Ruth 3, verse 7 and 8 NIV. Once Boaz woke up, the plan was set in motion, and that would lead to the eventual marriage of him and Ruth, from whose lineage Jesus came. In the cases of Adam and Boaz, both men were fruitful and productive, yet still asleep. It was not until the set time that each man's capacity to love was awakened by God. It was then and only then that they were able to intersect with destiny and with the love of their life. Call to action. Know that godly men have a set time and an appointed season to be awakened to love. With that in mind, do not be weary in well doing. While the timing varies from man to man, having this awareness will help you. 1. Avoid the heartache of expecting to be in a committed relationship with someone who is not ready. 2. Avoid the man that is not the one for you. 3. Avoid taking things personally. Side note, sometimes as women, we can get headstrong and set out on a mission to get involved with a guy simply because he ignores us. You know the syndrome. How dare he resist the irresistible me? Don't do it. If it doesn't fit, why try to force it? Why insist on being in or seeking a relationship with someone whose capacity to love is dormant or in sleep mode? Why meddle with a sleeping giant? Trust God and make room for the set time and appointed season. Ironically enough, as I write these lines, Valentine's Day happens to be approaching. There's a certain feel and ambiance surrounding that day, and the emotion of it can easily get you down or lure you into participating into activities that you clearly know you should avoid. Other days can have the same effect on us too. So remember, he may be asleep, but true love is on its way. Thanks for joining. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Until next time, beloved, I would that you prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers.